What's up, everybody? This is the voice of YouTube's Rayon Shadow Badger here, coming at you with my newest video. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I've been wanting to do something like this for... Actually, I tried making kind of like a best to least favorite list last year with the Super Saiyan transformations. But I'm those type of people that when it comes to figuring out which ones I prefer, I have a hard time. But I figured the first one I would do would be based on something that I'm very passionate about, which is, of course, heavy metal rock music. And I figured, a good one for me to start out with doing these type of tier list videos, because I saw like other YouTubers making tier list videos. I figured, oh my god, can I talk? That this would be a good place to start in terms of doing this type of content. And if you all enjoy this, then let me know and I can do some others. But yeah, we're gonna do one on one of my all-time favorite newer bands. Actually, yeah, pretty new, and that is of course Ghost. Because if you have Ghost, you have everything. And I got into them back in 2013. Actually, I'm coming up to my 6-year mark of when I first became a Ghost fan. I got into them during the Papa Emeritus II era, right before the If You Have Ghost EP came out, and ever since then, I've enjoyed every album that they ever put out. In terms of my favorite lineup, in terms of the ghouls, because I feel like everybody would be asking me which ghouls I prefer, I will always say this: the best ghouls they ever had was when Alpha and Omega was in the band. They were in the band from 2010 to 2016, and also the best keyboardist ghoul they ever had will always be Air Ghoul, for the one from 2011 to 2016. I do think the two female keyboardist ghouls they have now are amazing. I'm really loving the current lineup that they have, but I will always prefer that lineup that I just mentioned, and I hope one day that they'll come back. So, anyways, without further ado, let's get started on this very hard challenge. So, Popestar, their second cover EP. How to say about this cover album? It's not bad, but it's not good either. It's pretty okay. The only song that a lot of people remember from this is Skrrhammer and Bible. To me, I think the best two songs from this EP is Skrrhammer and Missionary Man, however you say that name. And I think Bible is a good song too, but the songs I just mentioned are the ones I get the most enjoyment out of. So, but unfortunately, I would have to rank this in D. This one definitely will be staying here. Next up is... this is going to be hard because I've enjoyed this EP very much so. I enjoyed all the songs. Of course, the live version of Secular Haze is amazing. That's pretty much the first Ghost song I've ever heard, actually. So, I have fond memories of this era. This... I pretty much listen to this a lot. Where do I rank this, though? That's the question. I know that this is definitely above Popestar. I don't think no other album will be going to D. Of course, if they had Ceremony and Devotion, it might be in D or C, because I think the production of that live album could have been a lot better, and I kind of wish they, again, I'm showing my bias here, I wish they would have put out a live album sooner with Alpha and Omega in the band. Thankfully, you can tell that which ghoul lineup it is, which is the 2017 ghouls, which is the worst named school lineup, except for the dude playing the black Hagstrom Fentelman guitar. But yeah, if I had to rank this, I think I would have to. I think I would have to rank this as B. I gotta be honest here. I really do enjoy this cover EP. And yeah, now we're getting into the hard stuff. Trying to rank all 4 of these studio albums. Well, I already know that Prequel would probably be B. I like it. What I don't like is that there are certain lyrics that hints at the lawsuit that the former Ghouls did. And in terms of, the fandom of Ghosts, there were a select group of people that knew who all the band really was. So, like, before it was revealed that Alpha was Simon, and I hope I'm not saying his name wrong, because I know that, in Swedish, they say names differently. And then, of course, Omega was Martin Perssoner. And, of course, Papa himself was the guy that we all knew. Like, pretty much, he was the first one people already knew who he was, which is, of course, Tobias Forge. So, it's no secret anymore. And I kind of wish they could have gone, but I kind of wish they never revealed the real names, but it is what it is. Kiss had this happen to them, Slipknot had this happen to them, so I guess Ghosts is next. But yeah, Prequel for right now would be in B. I may move it down to C, but we will see here. Or I might move this down to C. Next up, their 3rd album, Meliora. Great album. The album that started to really break, pretty much the album that made them start to be successful in North America. They won a Grammy because of Cerise, and they appeared on Stephen Colbert's late night TV show. Oh my god, I'm fumbling my words. And I saw that performance. They shortened stuff up, but it's totally fine. This album is freaking amazing. Like I said, this was the era I first saw Ghost. If I didn't say that before, now you all know. And I would have to rank this, for right now, in A. It's a good album. Unfortunately, I like Cerise, but I'm over it. I'm tired of that song. I'm pretty much, in a way, it's like what Sweet Child or Mine is for me, and He Is. He is definitely a song that I've gotten tired of hearing, but they're good songs, so I'm trying not to be biased towards this, but yeah. Next up, the first Ghost album I've ever had, Infestissimum, and I think I said that name right. This is the album I first got at Christmas. Like I said, this is the era I got into of Ghosts, and honestly, great album. Some may say that, it's not as good as the first album or the 3rd album, but to me, I think it's a very overlooked, amazing album. It has Year Zero, Monsters Clock, Secular Haze, the opening instrumental Infestissimum, and then it goes into Per Aspera, Ad, and Furry, which I hate the way that they play it now. The Black Ghoul, the Black Guitar Ghoul plays the intro part wrong. And I have to rank this as there. I have to be honest here. I love this album. Now for the first album, the debut, the band, when the band, during its humble beginnings. when it was just a fun little project. And they never expected it to become as big as it is. And this album features a lot of the classic Ghost songs. Two of them they still play today. Ritual, Conclave con Dio, Elizabeth, Genesis, a great instrumental. Stand By Him, Satan's Prayer, Death Kneel. The only weak song on this would probably have to be Prime Mover, but I like Prime Mover a lot as well. And honestly, I love the sound on this album. I love the production on this album. It sounds like an album from the 70s. And I would have to rank it up here, right next to Infestissimum. Now, with that said, I feel I should maybe move this. I think I'm going to move this up here as well, because I honestly enjoy all three of these albums equally, and maybe move this up. And I think if Ceremony and Devotion was on this list, it would probably be right here, honestly. This was really hard to do, because, again, this is one of my favorite bands of all time, and they are still very important to me. Even though that, like I said, there's been times I thought about not listening to them anymore, but they've always managed to pull me back in. So, I think this is my order. Again, I like Prequel, but I don't like the fact that he pretty much hanged his dirty laundry on an album. I think there's some strong songs on Prequel, sure, like Rats. Ashes is a pretty subpar instrumental, but how it leads into Rats is amazing. Dance Macabre, which that song does what it actually is meant to do. It actually did make me dance when I first heard it. Possibly my favorite Ghost instrumental, which is Mizama, however you say it, because of the sax solo. They had a freaking saxophone solo. Life Eternal. But at the same time, though, too, it's not as strong as the first three albums, in my opinion. On guitar, I play the songs from, Opus, Infest, and Meliora more so than I do with Prequel. But that doesn't mean I dislike Prequel. Honestly, I listen to this album more than I do with Popestar. Popestar is, they should have picked some better covers. And speaking of the Opus eponymous era, the Japanese version actually has a cover of Here Comes the Sun by the Beatles, and I love it. I love their version of that song. Some people may feel like, some people may feel like, it's not as good as the Beatles version, but to me, they changed it enough to make it their own, but you can tell what song it is. Anyways, this is my ranking for the Ghost albums. Chances are this will probably change once they ever release a new album, so I may do a update for this video. As always, make sure to comment, like, and subscribe, and hit that notification bell to know when all my episodes go live, and I'll be seeing you all later. And also, check this band out. They are amazing.